Assalamu alaikum. I don't have to say the score, but you could tell by the title of this video, right? I'm going to be going over Real Madrid versus Rayo Vallecano's game and literally talk about what went wrong. Because if you look at the game, if you look at the video that I made before this, if you look at the match preview that I made before this, I made my points clear. And I've always been making my points clear. And I'm going to say it again. On paper, we were supposed to win this game. Real Madrid were huge favorites going into this game, even though nobody's looking at our past record against this team, where we only managed to get one win in the away games against this team. And yet again, we drew against the same team. Now look, this was not a huge surprise to me. Like I said, go back to watch the match preview, and I literally break it down why Real Madrid cannot slack off against this team. And as soon as I saw Xabi Alonso's lineup, I knew things were going to go wrong. When I saw Trent not starting, made sense. But when I saw Rodrigo not starting, that's where I kind of was like a little confused. Because putting on Brahim Diaz is not the smartest choice. Now look, I am not a professional. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know what's going on with Rodrigo and Xabi Alonso. But the past couple of years, we could come to the conclusion that we could rely more on Rodrigo compared to Brahim Diaz. Even for this season, seeing what Rodrigo can produce within a couple of minutes. With Trent, we all know that he's just coming back. He's probably not 100% fit. He's probably still has, a couple of overload, muscle problems, whatever it may be. Okay, but the thing is that going up against a team like this, where I said clearly that they're the type to play the low block against Real Madrid. They are going to play on us, right? Basically pressing like there's no tomorrow. And they did. They played the low block, right? And not even that. Because the reason why I want to consider this team playing the low block is because, let me just show you this. And you tell me what you see on your screen right now. Look at the ball possession. And now I feel stupid if I were to say this team played the low block against Real Madrid, because usually if they're playing the low block, that means one team clearly has the possession, which is the team that is not playing the low block. However, if I just show this to you, if you didn't watch the game, you would assume this team didn't even play the low block. You could see the momentum, and this is pretty accurate. And I think Real Madrid, they gave a little justice to Real Madrid with showing a couple of whites there. But honestly, this should be filled with yellow because Vallecano played amazing against us. And I'm not surprised. Let's go over my notes. The first half, I listed that we had no creativity. No creativity. We played this slow tempo. And honestly, like I mentioned with Brahim Diaz, he was nowhere to be found. And I swear to you that I did not even realize that he was playing, because I did not notice him on the pitch in the first half. I don't know what made Xabi Alonso do this. I don't know if it's something that's carrying on from the Liverpool game. I don't know what it is, but the fact that he started over Rodrigo really bothers me. Bothers me so much. Our passing was terrible. Terrible passing. We only had one great chance. And that was when Vinny almost scored. And I listed here in the first half, and also even in the second half, the only player that was trying to win us this game, if I had to pick one, is Vinicius Jr. Vinicius Jr. has always been trying his best this entire 90-minute. And I'm very glad that Xabi Alonso didn't sub him off and put Rodrigo on, because I think that's where the downfall would have started between the relationship with Vinny and Xabi Alonso. And also the fans. The fans, honestly, we're going to start questioning Xabi Alonso. What the hell is he doing? Because if you look at some of the decisions that Xabi Alonso has been making this past season, we've been winning. So nobody questioned him. But in the beginning, like when it got announced, whatever decision he made, we would question him. And we would say, why? And then once we get the result, which is a win, then we're quiet. We're like, okay, do what you want to do. And that's why I've been saying that I have my full trust in Xabi Alonso. And I'm not saying this game was 100% Xabi Alonso's fault. I'm not saying that. I hate when I pinpoint the blame to somebody, because this is like a team performance that did horrible. It was all across the board. Even the staff. I don't even know their name. The staff as well, not just the manager. Everybody was just horrible across the board. But the only player that I'm going to give props to is Vinicius Jr. He's been the one trying from minute 0 to the 90th minute. The first half rating was literally a 0 out of 10. There was nothing that we did good. There was a moment where Jude Bellingham was pressing very good that led to a corner, but obviously led to nothing. So really there was nothing that I could think of that happened in the first half besides 2 plays that were good, great, or even amazing. It was just, this performance was maybe as bad as the game that we had against Liverpool, to be completely honest. Whether they played the low block, whether they didn't hold the ball much longer, they literally played so good that I have no words to say. They knew how to counter. They knew how to press. We had 0 passing skills. We had 0 dribbling, besides Vinicius, obviously. And most importantly, we had 0 finishing. Nobody could finish a shot. We took 13 shots and only had 2 on target, but only 13 against Rayo Vallecano. That should say a lot. Moving on to the second half. Doesn't get any better. Maybe in the extra time, but it literally does not get any better. And the big question that I had was, why was Brahim Diaz still on? 60th minute. Why is Brahim Diaz still on? And look, I'm not saying it's Brahim Diaz's fault, by the way. I love Brahim Diaz. I love Brahim. But having Rodrigo, right? And not even that. I'm not even going to mention Rodrigo. But the way Brahim Diaz performed, right? Any player that performed like that should have been taken off as soon as possible. As soon as possible. And the fact that we came into the second half with only 1 change, which is, I like it, right? He brought in Militao for Dean Huijsen. I like that change. But only a defensive change really did not change anything. Nothing happened. Besides, our defense just got better, maybe, yeah. But our attacking, no. We didn't solve anything up front. This is the question that I have. And somebody try to help me understand. If you're a manager and you see your team performed a 0 out of 10 in the first half, what possibly could have made you continue with the same team and only make 1 change in the second half? Because clearly it's not a tactical issue. Because in my opinion, the players were doing bad in general. The players were not doing good. Even Mbappé, who's been in form all season, what has he done? There's nothing that I could think of that he could have done. And by the way, before I keep going, I don't even want to mention this last. The referee was horrible. Not just for Madrid, for even Vallecano. There's calls that he missed or that he miscalled against them and even against us and in favor of each team. It was just horrible. That referee, I don't know what was going on, but he was horrible. Horrible referee. Back to my point. I don't know why there was no changes. I really don't know why. Let's look at the lineup together, right? I agree that this goalie should have gone man of the match. He's been phenomenal, saved amazing shots, man of the match. In my opinion, why did he stay on until the 71st minute? And we saw Valverde getting injured. Why wasn't he subbed off earlier? Why didn't Trent come on earlier? Is there a muscle problem? I don't know what's going on, but I don't know if I'm missing the information or the news, what's going on with Trent. But so far, it's been nothing. And to be completely honest, we had Endrick on the bench. And if Mbappé was not in form, if Mbappé was not doing good, why don't you sub off Brahim Diaz earlier? Bring on Endrick. We barely seen this kid get minutes in Madrid. Why are we not letting him get some minutes before he goes on loan? What is the issue? I don't know what's going on. I really don't. There's multiple changes that we could have done. If you look at our substitutes and our bench, right? We had Trent, who could have possibly came on earlier. Rodrigo, who could have even started. Ceballos, who could have been on instead of maybe Brahim Diaz earlier, right? I'm still speaking about earlier. And we had Endrick. What was the problem? Why is Endrick not getting minutes? If Xabi Alonso watched us last season, Endrick has caused magic coming off the bench. Why is he not playing? Xabi Alonso has to answer that question for us. For the second half, I literally said there's no intensity, and I could have said that for the first half as well. There was no intensity. There was lazy pressing, lazy passing, lazy runs. It looked like Madrid didn't want to play. That's what it looked like. And honestly, I am shocked that this is only a draw. I'm surprised we didn't lose this game. Me being completely honest. I'm surprised we didn't lose this game. And I was, to be honest, good that we got our 1 point. But if we did lose, we learned from the mistakes. But saving that 1 point, and especially if Barcelona loses or draws as well, we're going to see this as okay, we're safe. And that is something I wanted to mention as well. In the past couple of years, I think that Perez, the board, whatever it may be, they look at results. They don't look at performance. For example, last season we finished second in La Liga, right? But we did horrible in the UCL. That made them want to change or want us to get maybe a new manager or do some change to the team, right? But if you look at 2 seasons ago where we won the UCL, but if you look how we won the UCL, how we won La Liga, where there was like little struggle, it doesn't matter because they look at results, not performances. And I think, in my honest opinion, and I got this, shout out to Faisal, but the way he said it was perfectly. But I think that if there was going to be a good result this season where we brought La Liga back or the UCL back, I think they're going to see this season as like there's no problem. And we did. We started off with no problem, right? We've been winning with big margins. A couple of games where we only won by 1 goal where it's questionable. But we've been doing decent. But as of recently, and especially against big teams, we don't have the best results. And that's what's going to open eyes now. But if the results blind us, where we don't see the results, this is going to be a huge problem. Xabi Alonso, Perez got to figure this out because they cannot leave it for the fans to figure this out themselves. And also, my last point I want to mention, Asensio did very good for us. And I think after Vinicius Jr., he's the one that we should give props to. Now, on FootMob, a simple pass could change somebody's rating just like this, which is why I want to ignore the fact that they gave Bellingham and Arda Güler 8.2, which I think Bellingham did better than Arda this game. But in my opinion, Asensio did so much better than both of them in his natural position. So shout out Asensio, and he is proving the doubters wrong. He did very well and saved us many times with some tackles that he did this game and some of his defensive work. Asensio, I'm happy to see him getting a lot of minutes this game as well and the season, because to be honest, I thought that he was not going to play as much and going to rot on the bench just like what Xabi Alonso is doing with Endrick, which I'm so mad about. I'm upset that Endrick didn't even get a couple of minutes this game to maybe change something. We know Endrick does magic, but I don't know what's going on in behind the scenes. So Xabi really got to clarify that to us, whether it's drama or not, because it's already drama now. How can it get worse than that? Let me know what you guys think. Leave it in the comments below. Do you think that Real Madrid deserved this? Because in my opinion, we deserved worse. Do you think Rayo Vallecano missed a couple of chances? Do you think that there was a mistake that they did? Let me know your honest opinions and specific details about this game. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. A lot of you guys are new to this channel. Make sure you subscribe because it's free. And leave a like and share the video with friends, family, grandma, grandpa, uncle, aunt, brother, or sister. And until then, Assalamu alaikum.